It's a process in my faith, nothing is a waste. An opportunity to grow in my faith. Wanna be on a righteous path for his name's sake. I have my shortcomings, but I know what you're doing, Lord. Hey y'all. This video is gonna seem like the past videos that I've posted on this channel, but I'm going to get into the specifics on how I make a song and the approach that I use to make a song. Feel free to comment down below if you're an artist, the strategies you use to create a song. For me, I'm a writer, so I write the lyrics first, and it's kind of surprising just thinking of that, of how I came about with writing and journaling and writing songs, because writing and reading wasn't my strongest subjects growing up. I was more of a math girl. But anyway, my early days of schooling, I didn't really do well in school because there was just a lack of interest and focus in school. My early days of school, it was a challenge for me to be interested in what I was learning because I was a daydreamer. I would just daydream. But once I woke up, math was the first subject I started to pick up on. I also think part of it, of how I just became a writer now, is through journaling. While studying the Bible and reading the Bible, I usually journal. And with the Bible, it's kind of like literature. And what I've noticed recently about studying the Bible and how to handle the Word of God properly is you have to go back to understanding the passage, like what you've learned in writing and reading, and going back to the basics of reading comprehension to understand what the author is trying to get across, what message he's trying to give to the audience. Even though the Word of God, the Bible, is spiritual and to be treated as such, to be handled properly. But this is what I've noticed about the Bible and literature, because the Bible has narratives, metaphors, poetry. This is what I've noticed. But yeah, it's just crazy to see how I got here now that I'm a writer now, which I wasn't always a writer. I wasn't a writer before. I didn't write before or read before as much. You would know me, those who know me would know me, I wouldn't read. So it's crazy to see how far how I got here, now writing and composing songs. But with artists, they usually produce a track first, or strum, or use their instruments to strum on their instruments. They would use their instruments to find a melody and a chord. Then they would come up with the lyrics. I guess that's the way you're supposed to do it. I mean, it would be easier. I'm gonna try to use this strategy when I finished all the songs I've already written. And it's gonna be a while because I've written singles, I have albums. I organized it in such a way that I came up with albums. And I'm going to show you all the process. Now I'm coming up with an album. It's been in my notes app for a long time about the certain albums, God willing, I would like to release. And part of it I'm going to show you in the next video about how I'm coming up with an album now. I just noticed I was looking away from the camera. Now I'm looking at the camera. But yeah, I'm going to show you all in the next video. But yeah, I would just have to come up with the melodies from the beat and then the lyrics. I want to try to use that strategy than the one I'm using now, which is the backwards way. And also with starting this strategy. I think I might even start it sooner because I'm trying to copy a beat from one of the videos in my playlist, producing playlist, and I want to try to copy the tutorial so that I get the hang of how to use GarageBand and how to make lo-fi beats. So using that, I would come up with a melody and then the lyrics. So it might be even sooner using this approach of making a song. But the approach I use now is I'm always changing up the melodies and the lyrics to make it fit the beat I come up with after. And it's nothing too drastic, as you've seen in the last video with the last song, Woman of God. I didn't really change too much. I changed probably like one melody, one verse. I didn't change the melody too much. And the lyrics pretty much stayed the same. And I always end up tweaking it a little bit. This kind of reminds me of the time I spoke to one artist. And though it was a context of coming out as an artist, how do you first start as a musician, as an artist? She mentioned one thing, which is just start anywhere. Eventually, it will all fall into place. And this is what reminds me of the different strategies artists use to make a song. The different ways and approach that they use. Yes, music isn't just noise, and music has to have a structure, has to have rhythm. Otherwise, it would just be noise. Music has to be put together and structured, which I'm trying to learn music theory right now. I'm trying to learn piano and guitar, but it's been on pause because of finances, where I'm at financially, and also because of time. So they've been put on pause. But God willing, when the time comes, I don't want to say I plan, but I want to go to school next year, getting a degree in music production, like starting all over again and getting a degree in music production so that I do have that time to focus on music and actually learn quicker. You do have to learn. I'm just remembering what she said, and it is kind of true that eventually it will all fall into place. Even with me not coming from a musical background, I have a couple songs under my belt. I didn't even know how I made these songs. I do need practice, and that's why I want to go back to school so that it sounds good and I'm doing it the proper way. But even at that, with my skills now, and I eventually end up finishing a song, I don't even know how I got there. I get there when I'm done with a song, like, oh, I actually finished this song. Like, half the time I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, it just reminds me of that. Eventually, and I don't want to say I don't know anything about music, because I have been learning about music theory. Yeah, sometimes it works out, but eventually I do definitely want to try to produce a track first, then come up with the melodies, forming melodies, then the lyrics. Because I think by that way it will go faster. And the tweaking wouldn't be as much. I don't believe there will be any tweaking, really. I haven't tried that. I'm going to try that once I've finished all the songs I've already written. What is the best strategy for you artists out there who are watching this? Is there a right way or a wrong way? For me, as I said before, I journal. I come up with the idea for the song first. The idea just pops up in my head. Then I try to write the lyrics. After, I would try to form melodies. then I would make the beat after. And I think I use this approach is because I'm not yet familiar with instruments. Artists who are familiar with instruments strum on their instruments to find the chords and melodies that they really like. Then after, they would write the lyrics, come up with the lyrics from the melodies, showing on their instruments that they use and the chords that they, want to use. Short video today on how I make a song, and it's gonna change to me creating and producing a track first once I get familiar and more confident in my GarageBand knowledge, and also with my instruments as well as I progress on in music, God willing. Then trying to form a melody from the beats and chords that I use. Then after, the lyrics, because I believe that's the way you're supposed to do it and it's easier. Just wanted to share my approach to how I make my music. I also want to hear from you artists. What approach do you use and how has it been making music? And let me know of any suggestions that you have right down below. Do you have any suggestions for me? It would be helpful and I would greatly appreciate it. But feel free to comment down below your suggestions. See you in the next one.
Growth, growth, you should grow. Growth, growth, you should grow. Don't stay stagnant, don't stay lukewarm. By God's grace, reach maturity.